Hi friends, welcome to a new week. It's Monday, May 23rd. You're watching the Knits and Beads podcast and I'm your host, Lorelei Erdo. I'm a jewelry designer, full-time jewelry designer who knits in her free time. And this is a predominantly knitting podcast with a little jewelry thrown in every now and then. As I said, it's Monday, May 23rd. I'm recording in my home in upstate central New York. In case you're a new viewer, welcome. I hope you stick around to watch future episodes or even past episodes. This is episode number 16, 17, I forget. I should probably look into that before I record, but didn't. So I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. We had a good weekend. We didn't really do too much. We had some friends over on Saturday night. That was nice to kind of celebrate, kind of a post-celebration of my birthday since my birthday fell in the middle of the week last week. Had a great birthday. If you've wished me happy birthday on social media, thank you. It was nice. I got some really nice gifts from some friends, and my husband got me a sewing machine and it is arriving today, so I'm very excited. I got a Singer heavy-duty sewing machine, and I have some hopes and dreams for that sewing machine. We'll see how that works out. I have some things in mind that I want to play around with. Project bags being one of the things. Also just some accessory type things just for myself or gifts or whatever. So I'll be playing around with that later this afternoon, I'm sure. So let me just get right into the knitting. I do not have any full finished objects. I do have a half finished object. I'll show you my sock. I'm knitting these socks for the Fancy Feet Knit Along that's being hosted by the Grocery Girls podcast. Basically, the idea is that you knit a sock pattern with a technique that you had never done before. I've only knit 2 pairs of socks so far, and I did vanilla socks for both, so I decided to do a lace sock, and I talked about this last week, but I did finish one sock, so here it is. Turned out great. I'm really happy with it. This is a sport weight yarn from Quince & Company, and I believe it is Finch. I think it's Finch. Which I had never knit socks with a sport weight before, so it went really fast, which is nice. This is a paid-for pattern. These are called the Solstice Stockings. You can find that on Ravelry. I did make a few mistakes. Around here, I ended up... What happened there? Somehow dropped a stitch, and so there's a little bit of a hole. And then when I got down to the heel, after the heel I picked up the stitches and I started knitting in the round. I made a mistake and was reading the chart wrong, where the chart doesn't show the rounds of knit stitch. Like, you're supposed to do a round of knit stitches in between each decrease. Didn't do that for a couple of rows. So you can't really tell that happened on this side. And it looks fairly simple, fairly normal on this side, but when you look at the sock from the top, yeah, you can kind of see where that decrease is a little bit off. But when you're wearing, I can't tell when I'm wearing them, so I'm not going to worry about it. The toe decreases came out very good. Very happy with this project, actually. And I did start the second sock. I haven't gotten very far. I'm just working on the lace cuff at the moment. So that's as much as I have for that so far. Fun project though. Like them a lot. So last night I kind of felt like I needed to cast something new on, something different. So last summer I placed an order. I think I might have ordered these from Jimmy Bean's Will, if I remember correctly. I got a couple skeins of Prism Yarns Euroflex Sport Weight Linen. This is a machine washable on delicate, tumble dry low yarn. The fiber content is 100% linen. These skeins are 270 yards, and you need a size 2 to 4 needle. And this one is sapphire, so it's a blue. It has a little bit of a teal running through it, which is so pretty. And this one is this is mushroom, and it has just really faint kind of greeny gray running through it. Very subtle. So I was scouring Ravelry for a nice like market tote type of project, and I had quite a few already favorited, and I ended up settling on one that I had already favorited. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's called the Eileen bag. Here's a picture of it. Just really simple, you know, I mean, very simple project. But I started it yesterday. It took a couple of tries to get it started, but I'm working along very well on it. I'm doing this in the mallard color. This is beautiful green. And here's how much I have so far. So I got the bottom of the bag done, which is just done in stockinette. And then I'm now working in the round, and I'm working on the mesh pattern. And I do about, I think, 8 inches of this, and then start working on the handle. So fun project. Yeah, I'm liking it. Once I got used to the linen yarn, however, it is kind of has a kind of a stiff feeling to it. I'm sure that once this washes up, it'll be really nice and soft. That's what I've been told. I love the color. I'm hoping that this will go well, and I may make another couple of these for my girlfriends. So, yeah. So if you're looking for a market tote, I recommend the Eileen bag. That's by Hannah Ingalls. And you can find her blog at iknityouknot, iknityouknot.blogspot.com. Like I said, I got this directly from Ravelry. And I had a couple of different bags favorited. There's one that's Japanese that is really amazing, and it's done in a DK weight linen yarn. But it shows that it's only available like in this Japanese magazine that I can't purchase online, and I'm bummed. The construction of the bag looks fairly simple, but yeah, kind of bummed about that. I don't think I can figure it out on my own, but maybe. So yeah, anyway, that's all I'm working on at this moment, I think. I'm still working on my test knit. I'm really excited to start some kind of sewing projects, so I'm looking forward to that. So this is going to be a really fast episode, I guess. Don't really have too much to talk about. I'll talk about some All right, I'm going to pause here for a second. Speaking of sewing, I went to Barnes & Noble last week on my birthday, actually, because I like going to the bookstore a lot. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I was looking at the sewing books, and I picked up a few. So these, I'm sure, will be very helpful. This is How to Use a Sewing Machine. A beginner's manual. Perfect. This book has a lot of really great illustrations in it and shows you how to get started, how to thread your machine, how to wind the bobbin, how to change the feet on your sewing machine, different stitches. Talks a little bit about serger type stuff, how to do pleats and binding and trim and embroidery, applique. Yeah, I just thought it was really nice. This is put out by Pavilion Press. Oh no, it's a Sterling. It says Pavilion and then it says Sterling on the back. Let's see. Published in the UK by Pavilion. Pavilion Books Company. And this came out in 2010. So yeah, how to use a sewing machine. And then I'm in love with Scandinavian design, so I picked up Lotte Jansdotter Everyday Style. I love Lotte Jansdotter fabrics, and I've seen some of her stuff online before, and I just fell in love with every project in this book is fantastic. So I think that the first thing I'm going to try out of this book when I get my sewing machine is this triangle scarf with the pom-pom trim, because you just can't have enough pom-pom trim in your life, really. So I'm looking forward to that very much. This is put out by, let's see, I'm always interested in who the publisher is for some reason. I don't know. I'm weird like that. Yeah, so this was $30. It's hardcover, and I love it. I want to get all of her books, definitely. This is another great little design, patchwork scarf. So this gives you an idea of the kind of design I like. Not to say I don't love printed fabrics that you get at Joann Fabrics. I love those too. And I have a lot of bags that kind of feature that kind of stuff. But if I'm going to make bag, design-wise, I really like kind of a Scandinavian, simple, really nice and sometimes very graphic look. That is that. Alright, so some other acquisitions I recently received. I placed an order from, alright, before I talk about that, I did a swap with my friend Stacy Elstone of Stress Knits podcast. If you don't watch her podcast, you need to watch. She's home from college now, she's graduated, and now she's doing regular, I think, almost weekly podcasting. So, yay! I love her podcast so much. She needed to kind of destash a skein of Wollonvine yarns, and she had suggested if anybody had anything to trade with her, she was looking more for sock weight, a different kind of base, basically. So she sent me this, and it was a mystery skein, and this is Kristen's Narwhal base, and this is the Moondrop colorway. So it's just a really pale pink, has a little bit of gray, a little bit of white in it. It's very subtle. It's beautiful. It's really soft. And so I sent, which if you already watched Stacy's podcast, you would have seen her show it off last week. But I sent her a skein of Wollonvine in the Wolka base, and the colorway was Neptunia, so it was kind of like lime green, variegated. So yeah, this is pretty. This is really pretty. But not only did Stacy send me this as the trade, she is so nice. She sent me a little handful of mini balls of yarn to try out. And I'm so excited because she sent me Spun Right Round and Druzy Rising, which is completely on my bucket list, yarn bucket list. Oh my gosh. There's just, I have tried many times to snag something in the update, and literally I have never seen an update happen so fast in my life. It's literally, things sell out in about 30 seconds, and I'm not exaggerating. So it was kind of nice to see what the hype is about. If I ever can get some, I'll be really excited. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to knit with it because it's so hard to get. But anyway, Stacy also sent me 2 skeins of Madeline Tosh. I can't believe that's very generous. That's extremely generous. Thank you, Stacy. She sent me 2 skeins of Tosh Merino Light, and these are gorgeous. This is the Night Bloom color. Beautiful purple, mauve-y plum color. Love it. Wow. And this was kind of a birthday gift, and I'm just floored. She's just so nice. And it's totally my colors. Love it. Thank you, Stacy. So, got that. I placed an order, which I think I mentioned last week in my episode, from Miss Babs, because I want to do the Gleam shawl. And I ordered a skein of light, it's the Yowza skein, light worsted yarn. And this colorway is called Flabbergasted. But this is also the Miss Babs Wild Iris, so it's non-repeatable color. Just look at that amazingness. Flabbergasted is right, because I could die. It's got my hair on it. Oh, it is perfect. It has every color imaginable in it. I just love it. And it's going to be perfect for that shawl. Absolutely perfect. So I'm really looking forward to starting that project soon. Very soon. I believe it calls for a DK weight, but this is light worsted. It's pretty much the same, I think. Yeah. So, yeah. Miss Babs, man. Oh, Miss Babs is the way to go. Not only that, but look at the size of the skein. It's as big as my head. It's bigger than my head. Yep. Look at that. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm so excited. And then last but not least, I ordered some things from Madeline Tosh because I love Madeline Tosh. This is Euro Sock. It's a fingering weight. It's 435 yards. It's 100% merino wool. And I cannot pronounce. The color name is something called Abiquiu, maybe. But it's beautiful. It's got like kind of a mauve brown with speckles of black and teal and white on a white base. Really fun. I love it. I just thought it would be great paired with a nice solid or semi-solid in a shawl or something. So I have no immediate plans for this, but I just love it. I also ordered from Madeline Tosh this is called the Loom. This is cool. This is a cool little tool. I can do several different things with this. I can turn it into a slingshot. I can make pom-poms and tassels. I can make friendship bracelets. I could do a 2-string cord, which is cool. It's kind of a weaved cord. I could do small weavings on it and a square braid. which I have something similar to this that I do square braids on. But this has a lot of other uses, and I like these little notches in the top and bottom for yarn. That's just really fun. I've already made some pom-poms with it for a gift, birthday gift, and they were a hit. And I made a pom-pom this morning for the cat, or for the cats, but only one was playing with it because the other cat is always sleeping. And he liked it a lot. So I got that, but then I also got a gauge, a knitter's gauge measurer. I know it says crocheters tool. Oh, crocheters rule. Yes, they do. But I ordered it, and then I realized that there was one that said knitter's rule. Oh well. I just decided to keep it because I contacted them and I said, is it the same? Is the gauge the same? And she said, yeah, it just says crocheters or knitters. So I'm like, all right, I'll just keep it. So that'll be handy to have if I ever decide I'm going to do a swatch, which I haven't done one yet. So you never know. It's a cool tool just to have anyway. I guess that's pretty much it. In the jewelry business, I'm gonna be working in the studio today, making things. It's kind of a slow week last week, so I'm hoping this week will pick up a little. I don't have anything in mind of what I'm gonna work on just yet, but I am playing around with some ideas. I haven't really talked to anybody about this yet, but I'm thinking about possibly opening a little bead store online where I'm going to curate it to feature a lot of my favorite artisan beads. So it's going to be all handmade beads from a couple different genres. For example, pewter, for example, polymer, for example, ceramic. And so I'm playing around with those ideas right now. And I'm excited about it. So I think it'll be kind of a fun thing. I'm also thinking about closing my Jewelry Accord store. That's my Etsy shop where I sell linen cording. I feel like it had a good run. I'm not making enough to have it be worth it, to keep it open. So I'm thinking that I will probably offer a little bit of a sale in the shop just as a closing adios sale, and discount the prices of the cording for a couple of days, and I will announce that probably on my blog and on Facebook and Instagram. If you want to follow me on social media, my Ravelry name is Lorelei Erdo, and my Etsy store where I sell jewelry is loreleierdojewelry.etsy.com. I have a website which is loreleierdo.com. You can also find it by loreleierdojewelry.com. I'm on Instagram as Lorelei Erdo. Feel free to friend me on Facebook. I'm Lorelei Hill Yurdo. I use Facebook a lot, so that's kind of a great place. And I've just recently started friending some podcasting friends there. So if you get a friend request from me, that's why. But if you're not into it, feel free to ignore my, friend request. I'm not going to be offended at all. So, yeah. I have a business page on Facebook as well. It's under Lorelei Erdo Jewelry in case you're interested in checking that out. And I guess that's it till next week. I know it's kind of a lame episode. I'm sorry about that. And I'm not really feeling like super high energy today, as you can tell. So if you're into that, great. If you're not into that and you don't want to come back, that's cool. I'm just not a high energy person. I'm just kind of even most of the time. So if you like a lot of like hoopla, I can recommend some great podcasts that you can watch. Speaking of podcasts, I want to do a little shout out to a new one that I just recently discovered. If I can remember what it's called, that would be fantastic. It's called My Two Tips. And the host of that podcast is Elise Garnier. Elise, she's fun to watch. I really like her, and she threw out some swear words, and I was loving that. So, yay for Elise. So yeah, definitely check out My Two Tips podcast. She also has a Ravelry group, and she's on Instagram as E_Garnier. And that's Garnier. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I am also really loving Claire Gallagher. Claire's podcast is called Tiger Knitting. That's a really great one. She only has a few episodes out so far. How many does she have? Let's see. 2. She's got 2 episodes. I've only watched the second one. I'm going to watch the first one later today. So yeah, check that out. Definitely. Is there anybody else? The Knitting Type with Sarah. That's a good one too. Check her out. She's super funny. And that's it. I do have... Oh, last week I didn't show you my the yarn that I got for my subscription Fiberista Club. It was the most brightest, obnoxious orange that you could ever think of. And so I contacted them and asked them if I could return it and exchange it, and they were really cool about that. So I popped it back in the mail the next day. They are sending me 2 new skeins in a different color. I picked like a teal blue color, so I'm very excited about it. It's a color that I've been wanting to knit with for a while. It's great for summer. I think it'll be fantastic. I'm hoping they send me a fingering weight. I don't know exactly what they sent me. I think it might have been a DK, or I don't think it was a worsted, but that's on its way. I also bought a skein of hedgehog fibers because Stacy is knitting right now the most beautiful socks I've ever seen with the Rift colorway. So I went on Ravelry and I found someone destashing 1 skein of it. So I ended up buying it. It's on its way. So next week I'll be able to show that to you too. Very excited. What else have I ordered? I think that's all that I have coming right now. So, I guess that's it for today. This episode has been so short. I can't believe it. What, maybe half an hour? Thanks for coming over and hanging out with me, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you have any suggestions, let me know. Or if you want to just say hi, let me know. Leave a comment. And if you feel like joining the Ravelry group, it's pretty quiet over there, but it's under Knits and Beads podcast in the groups tab. And oh, I am also I'm sorry, this is so like random. I don't have notes, so that's why it's all over the place. I'm expecting my mini skein swap to show up this week. I sent out my mini skeins last week and she already received them and loved everything, so I'm excited to get my mini skeins and start a little collection of mini skeins. I could use some more, so if anybody wants to swap mini skeins, let me know. I'm into that. I love that. I'm sure I'm getting quite a few fingering weight yarns, but I have all kinds of weight yarn, so if you wanted to just do a regular swap for whatever minis of any gauge, let me know too. That'd be super fun. I love mail. So thanks again for coming, and I'll see you guys next week.